Okay, so
Yeah.
you want,
JP.
huh?
Should I check the text JP?
For a room like this that's used in great talent.
I agree.
I mean, it could be. Connects with something.
They can log in like they capture it and next.
So, we're talking. Let's get it. President lights are five. Folks can pop by. Do y'all have class right now? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, I'm gonna ask while y'all are waiting so that you can ask students will actually hear what we're talking about. If you just take 2 minutes just to listen to this first question and then, yeah, we'll go from there. All right, welcome. Huh? One second. Okay, cool. We're zooming so that the other campuses can be involved. And then
How are you? Yeah, we do. Yes, yeah,
I'll be first.
I don't want.
oh, I have one with me too.
I haven't seen it.
Here, lucky me, lucky you.
Yes, fine. You're winning. Two on that.
We're trying to figure out how I can move it.
Where's that?
Oh, are we recording this Zoom?
Really?
Kaylin, do you know if we're, oh, this will work.
Okay.
This will work. Oh, it was Zoom.
I've got a few kids over there. Yeah. Graduation to lights and sound. Yeah.
Okay, Maria.
Yes.
Music.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Bluegrass. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the culminating event for our first generation student week. Can I get a Panther roar? Yes. So today we're having tea with Dr. Couch, and you can also have cocoa or coffee or just those amazing pumpkin muffins. But it's been an amazing week for our first gen population. And we just want to go over again really quickly what first generation week is for and also who it's for. I want to say that it's for all Pellissippians. It is for each and every one of us. Access to higher education is the point. And not just access, but once you become a part of the community, being able to not just stay and survive, but to feel like you belong, to feel like you matter, that you have a place here, and that you know the rules of the game. So much about college is a game. There are game pieces, there are a way to move, there's a way to be. And if you're not sure what that is, it can be really difficult and isolating and lonely. And so I want to say that 3 days ago, I knew the exact date that that First Generation Day started on. However, what I can tell you is that it is a national day of celebration. And who? Well, it's if your parents weren't able to get a 4-year degree, then you're considered first generation. So even if your parents got a professional degree, a technical degree, or 2-year associates, you are still considered first generation because of that whole like 4-year bachelor's situation, right? And so I'm really excited about being first gen, and I've told my story and we'll tell it a little bit more as we go today. But we have some folks lined up. We have such a lineup to talk about this idea and what it means for us here at Pellissippi and what we want to be able to do. So we just celebrate. We bring to awareness and we have conversations, and these conversations allow us all to remember what we've gone through to be able to help the next generation. This morning I found out, because I was asked to find out, what are our generation numbers, our first generation numbers? Vanita Williams, who's also on the committee for my co-chair for this, she's a director of TRIO, told me that 87% of our TRIO students are first generation students. Oh, come on, NJT. And then our numbers that we report are a little bit low, but we are thinking we're at around 25%, and that's because everyone doesn't report it because most people don't know what it is. So what we're going to talk about right now is we're going to talk about three things. Everyone that comes and sits in this wonderful, amazing blue chair, Panther chair, we're going to talk about their experiences as a first generation student. And I just have three questions. We're going to have Miss Lauren Ziegler, who works in our cultural engagement. She's our coordinator for cultural engagement for all of Pellissippi. And she's going to introduce herself, tell how she got here, and then I'm going to ask her the question. All right. Okay, I need the short version.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren Ziegler, coordinator for cultural engagement and inclusion. I am was a first generation student. So I went to school at Ohio University in Athens, Ohio, for cultural anthropology, and then worked for a while as a policy writer, and then University of Tennessee. And that brought me here to Pellissippi about 6 months ago.
Okay, right. So we're like work twins because we came around the same time, and we also came from the same institution. Now, how did it feel, right? Like seriously, you're the first one to go to college in your family. How did it feel to be the first?
So it feels great usually, right? But it's confusing too, because as Dr. Couch was saying, you don't know the systems in place at college. You don't know about financial aid deadlines. You don't know which office does what for you. You don't always know that there's success coaching or tutoring. You don't know about federal work study. And so it was confusing navigating those offices.
Right.
And not having just one place that does it all, which is why I think we're lucky here at Pellissippi State that we have kind of those offices centralized for our students.
Absolutely. Now, not getting in your business, anything, but your family, like, what did they talk about in terms of college? Like, were you like this person that they were like pushing, pushing forward, or was it not discussed? Tell me a little bit more about that.
So they didn't actually. We never talked about college. I come from a family where half of the time they go into the military,
Okay.
and the other half of the time they go into trades. So college, that traditional path, was never discussed with us. And my high school never really talked about that either.
Really?
So I was a non-traditional student. I didn't start college until I was 20.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I graduated later than anybody I went to high school with.
Oh, wow.
So it was just something that I was passionate about.
Wow.
And then loved working in higher education when I was an undergraduate student.
Okay.
And so I've kind of been here ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. So then my second question then, okay. You're on campus. It has happened. Your dream has happened. Come on in, students. Come in, please. Hey, and then Reggie, will you go back to our lounge? Because there's some students that wanted to come. They just came early, and just let them know that they can come now. Thank you. So we're there. You're excited. What was the moment? Remember the moment where you were sitting in class and you're like, these people know something that I don't.
So I think that happened on the first day.
Oh my gosh.
No, it was just obvious to me that, again, I was a non-traditional student. And so people, and a first generation student, so people had their parents help, and they knew what college was like. They knew how different it is from high school. They knew how to study different, and they knew what they were doing.
Mm,
So really quickly, I just fell out of place,
wow.
and I had to find what worked for me
Right.
on campus.
Right. And you found a job.
I did.
How
So
soon after that?
it was within my first year that I found a job with event services,
Oh, wow.
but it
That's good to know.
took me talking to a professor during office hours to find out that students work on campus, and
Oh,
that is
wow.
something that you can do.
Yeah. And so you went to office hours?
I went to office
How
hours.
did you even know what they were? Because I thought only doctors had office hours.
That's a great point. That's something that a lot of Christian students don't know, is that office hours are there for you to meet your professors. They are not the time
Oh,
that professors are just in their office by
Right.
themselves. Like
Right.
that's a great time to ask questions about your class, about college, ask
Right.
for a mentor.
right. I think, and this just aside, I think sometimes students feel like if they go there, they're proving that they don't know something or that they're not smart enough, instead of that's where you actually do get the most help. And I tell them that they're contractually obligated to be there and to help you. Last question. Okay, now, wow. I mean, you've come a long way from no one talking to you about college to getting a job on campus. So the day, just try to, close your eyes and try to remember that day, okay? You're walking across the stage. What would that person tell that first day young person about the importance of what it means to finish the journey?
So I think two things. One, it's okay to be scared.
Yes.
And number two, it's okay to not know everything. College is about growing, it's about experiencing new things, about learning and education. And even as adults, that we've been in this profession for over a decade, a couple of decades, and we still don't know everything.
Right.
So it's okay to learn and to grow every day.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. Awesome. Hey, everybody, let's thank Miss Lauren. Thank Miss Lauren. Lauren and I are doing some teaching tomorrow. I'm excited about always being able to share with anyone we can. Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Y'all, what? Are y'all listening? Man, we got somebody for you now. Coming all the way. What's your room number? 230. Coming all the way from Bagwell, 234. He is the organizer of the Pellissippi Palooza Indie Music Festival that's coming to a stage near you in the CPAC next Friday night. We have Jonathan and my dear friend. All right, please introduce yourself. Tell us what you do here and how you got to Pellissippi.
My name is Jonathan Manis. I'm Dr. Josh said. I teach audio production engineering, and in fact, we'll just diagonally that way. We also have a site location at Magnolia campus.
Absolutely.
95% of our programming there, so you get there quite easily if you are closer to there.
Okay.
What was the other question?
That's good to know. You are amazing at this. Jonathan and I have worked very closely together. And since he's been here, and I'm excited about our next iteration of great work, which we'll talk about a little bit more. I need to know, man, how did it feel to be the first in your family to go to college?
I will try and truncate this story because I feel like it's connected to, like a lot of the aligning things we talk about is together professional development.
Right.
When you're looking for a sense of belonging, social belonging, a sense of place, a lot of people have maybe that built in geographically or culturally, in any of the ways that shows up. And so my dad worked for the U.S. military in the late 90s, most of the 90s. So in 1989, we moved to Germany, and concurrently I got a guitar for Christmas for my birthday.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, while there was no homing beacon geographically, my dad's family was kind of Romans too. The music piece was kind of a homing beacon for that while I was becoming a third culture kid.
Wow.
And if you don't know what a third culture kid is someone who spends either is raised entirely in a place other than their nationality or culture.
Oh, wow.
Or somebody who spent a large part of their formative years.
Yeah.
In another country. So these 5 years of semi-isolation, I finding a sense of social belonging place in Appalachian music from this region.
Oh, wow.
Because my family's purely in state of here. So we moved back and after my freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
I spent 3 more years in a very traditional high school in a familiar situation because I was coming out of the Department of Defense high school, which was similar but very diverse, lots of different people.
Wow.
Which I loved because there were not only, foreign nationals close by because we lived off base, and there was a lot of people from all over the United States, all walks of life on the base. So lots of Spanish spoken, lots of, people of all skin tones.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a great way to grow up. But then there's the social belonging piece of starting college.
Right.
3 years passed, we were in high school in North Carolina. I love guitar. It was
Yeah.
my homing beacon, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to study guitar at Appalachian State. I wind up there, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody.
Okay, no shade.
Shade.
That's just, okay.
But it's important to note that people that can afford clarinets, flutes,
Right.
strings, like there's a resource imbalance
Yes,
from
yes.
a blue culture world.
Yes,
So-
I borrowed mine. I was a drum major at my high school,
Yeah.
and it was a single high school. We only had I graduated with 80 people, and I would go home with my band director and his family, because I was a clarinetist and his daughter was. And that's how I got back and forth to band practice, That's a good point. Now your feeling though, like, was it a monumental feeling, or by that time, because you had experienced so many cultures, college was a foregone conclusion? Tell me about how college played into your thought process when you were 17 or 18 and getting ready to make this choice.
It seemed to be the only thing that fit my plan, my path to that.
Right.
I went to Appalachian State, somewhat on purpose.
Come on, App State. That's where I went. I had track practice there. Yeah.
Because of a guitarist named Doc Watson, who is
Yes.
fundamental in the world I want.
Yeah.
The homing beacon. My first time of learning guitar in a foreign country was learning Doc Watson songs.
Wow.
I chose my location based on a great guitar program with Dr. Douglas James, and also the fact that it was a center homing beacon for Appalachian vocals.
Wow. Wow. So music became your thing. You got that guitar. You are a third culture person, but now you're in America, right? You're solid, like this is where you are, and you're in college. And there was a moment when you were sitting in class and you were like, did somebody pass out cards and I didn't get any? Talk to me about that moment.
That's definitely what I'm leading up to. There's the student that's had violin lessons all their life.
Right.
Has a specific card, a specific wardrobe. And I'm still, you can tell by my ball cap and chains, I'm still very much a doer. And so there's still a slight difference in how I present based on what I may have to do during the day.
I see.
I may have to crawl underneath the stage,
Right.
and I may not necessarily be behind a $10,000 instrument.
Right.
And all this is formative. My point about college experience was that sense of social belonging was very hard to come by. So
Really?
if there was someone that could have steered that discussion a little bit, I think I would have had a much better and much less isolating experience.
Oh, wow.
Because that was 4 to 6 years of never really changing and only learning how I could have navigated it in late adulthood.
Oh, wow. Okay. I love that. Because listen, it should have worked, right? Music was your access point to college, right? To thinking that, okay, if I can get to be able to do that, we can do college. But then now you're on the other side, way on the other side. You actually teach college students and advise them and make opportunities for their career. What is that like now? And what would you tell that kid that showed up at App State with those dreams, with that homing beacon? What would you tell that kid about what it means to be a first generation student?
Since I have to do that almost daily,
Well, talk to us about that.
the 4-year versus 2-year experience, and the idea that I may be working 25 hours a week and taking 20 hours of classes compared to a lot of the other students I study.
Wow.
The idea that I spend a lot of that time with bags in my eyes and not sure what my emotional state was going to be, and really just burning midnight oil, taught me a few kind of key things that I still say to students. One, all growth is uncomfortable.
He said, all y'all.
All growth is uncomfortable.
Huh.
Change is comfortable. Change is not going to go away.
Oh,
Change is the only constant. So if you are too comfortable, that means you're not growing. That means you're going to have a forced change in the not too distant future that's not going to be very comfortable for you.
forced change.
So the idea that the idea that my college experience was bad is actually not true.
Okay.
Because 20 years, 25 years after the fact,
Right.
a student will walk in unsure how to navigate a similar uncomfortable situation. And the hallmark of this discussion is this is growth. You just don't know it yet. And anything that we all kind of experience vicariously or personally some tragedy in our lifetime. And if you can flip that narrative to help somebody else's life and make their day better, maybe prevent some of that heartbreak for them, that is the point of my uncomfortable college years now, just down the way.
Okay, this is what he dropped some knowledge on us, right? This is growth. He said, being uncomfortable, this is growth. It was better than that. It was better than that.
All change is uncomfortable.
All
growth is uncomfortable.
Oh, yes, somebody write it down. We're recording this. All growth is uncomfortable. And that's what college is, right? That's what being the first is. It means that you were the first to grow. And yesterday, Luke who works in Stay Strong, he's a success coach and he also handles our Navigate app. When he was speaking to everyone, he talked about the fact that once he got his college degree, it was like it was systemic. It caught on. And so much about what you are doing as the first, as uncomfortable, as unknown as it is, we do know one thing, and we know that from what Jonathan has shared with us, and that is all growth is uncomfortable.
So you got to be ready for it.
And not just ready, but welcome it.
Yeah.
And that's what college is. I'm sure that my story, I always start with, I was in the hallway. I was in the 6th grade and, we were at a rural high school. I took shop. I didn't make a gun rack because I didn't have any. I made a bookshelf. They didn't really let the girls do that. And then I couldn't work in the automotive. So I made some other shelf. But I was walking through the old high school because that's what they gave the middle school, the old high school. And my phys ed coach came up to me. I'm in the 6th grade, and he says, Couch, if you keep running fast, because I used to not chase boys. I'm sorry. I used to race boys for ice cream money before school and during lunch. And I won some ice cream money. But he saw that in me. And so he said, Couch, if you get good grades, you can go to college. And no one had ever spoke college to me. And so I really feel like what you are doing now is speaking your life experience in these spaces every day and having a living, breathing example of what that is so powerful. So, yeah. So why don't you go ahead and promote our indie concert that he's partnering with Student Engagement and Leadership to have.
First, thank you for this time at this moment. Appreciate it. All right, so we started the semester off, and I realized that in our production logistics management class, which does events as a final project, that we had 3 or 4 bands represented. And so I said, hey, the final project's built in, hire your own bands, contract your own classmates as an actual exercise in how to promote a festival. And it turned into next Friday, November 17th, we're going to take over the CPAC just down the way on the Hardin Valley campus. And from about 3 o'clock on, we're going to have 3 bands play. We have Tennessee Love Connection, High Days, and Bottomless Pocket are going to play. They're all partially represented by APE students, and APE is going to do all the production for it, and APT is going to capture it. Hopefully we'll deliver raw footage and multi-tracks to every band. And then there are things in the works to make it a audio technology production showcase with national partners next year.
Yes.
So we can get ahead of this, promote it even bigger.
Yes, we are. I love, and that's what happens when you have great colleagues and people who really, really want to be here in Mississippi State. We don't just want you to come get your grades. We want you to come get your life. We really, really want every part of who you are to be developed and have the opportunity to just thrive and to just go for it. So go Panthers. Woo. All right.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Are either of you first gen? Okay, come, both of you. Come. Yes, right now. Come on, it's not camera. It's just Zoom. All right. Okay, here, and then pull up a seat. Have a seat. All right, tell me your name. Well, you don't have to, I can hold it.
Eliana.
Okay, we have Eliana. Okay, listen. So Eliana and Alyssa, they are faithful, engaged, and lead folks. Like these are students I can count on if I'm having anything on campus. And so what I want to first tell you is I love serving you. I love seeing your smiling faces. I love providing opportunities for you. Can you tell me, so how long have both of you been here at Pellissippi?
This is my first semester.
Okay, so we have a first year and first year. So there's a lot of firsts going on in this moment. So can you tell me what it means for you to be the first in your family to go to college?
It's very special. I can't wait. I'm setting examples for my younger siblings.
Yes. How many do you have?
I have two.
Two younger siblings. How old are they?
They are both 12. Okay, they're 12 years old.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they want to go. I've asked them questions if they want to go to college. They're sort of, they say
They
they're
don't,
not
they don't
sure.
know yet, right?
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
they're seeing you do it. Yeah, bring them to campus. Bring them the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the easiest ways. Can you talk to me about your
I'm
situation?
doing it
Yeah, I
for
can
my
hold it.
daughter.
You're doing it for your daughter?
Yes.
Can you tell us about your daughter?
So she's 7. And you know, she changes her mind, like she changes her clothes.
Oh, yes, of
Growing up,
course.
she wants
And
to be in
yeah,
her life
and
right
that
now,
is her prerogative.
but she loves school already. She's in first grade
Mhm,
at Hardin Valley.
mhm.
So
Oh my goodness. And so you just, she's at school here and then you're, so how does it feel that you drop her off to school and then you come to school? What is that like?
it was a really good for me because I waited a long time. I started when she went in first grade, so it was like I waited for that for a long time until she was like in school and established. I'm like, okay, now I get 12 time for you to teach her sign language as I'm learning it and show her as well. So
Okay, all right then. And so you've been here. It is our 12th week of school. And have there been moments, and I know this can be hard, a little bit hard to talk about, but have there been moments where you have said to yourself, everyone else in here seems like they know what they're doing? Talk to us about it, if you would share about those moments.
whenever it's I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay,
But stuff about I'm in English and I'm writing papers and stuff. It's like it gets because you can ask a question with someone that you probably should know and we don't know. Have like the website or something
Right.
like that.
so some of our resources,
Yeah,
like Brightspace,
yeah, got really into Brightspace.
wow, like trying to figure that out. And you're like, did people like, because I came from campus and I'm an instructor and I was like, I have no idea, right?
Yeah.
And I have a PhD.
We had like MacBooks in high school before I was at South Little, so like certain things were everything was campus or Aspen and all that. I'm like, I have Brightspace. I'm like,
What?
what is this? But you can just turn everything online and calculate it. So it's now like technically on paper, everything is all on the computer.
Right.
And that was different. It's like, okay.
And that was different. Did it make you feel like you belonged? Or did it make you feel like a little bit isolated? And how did you negotiate and navigate these moments of feeling like the game pieces have been passed out and you missed out on it?
I just kind of push through. Like I try not to focus too much on that.
Right.
Just focus on what I'm doing right then and there.
Yes, yes.
And it helps a lot.
Okay,
Just
okay.
being there and not here.
Okay, so saying that I'm here, I'm gonna make it work. How about you? Can you share that with us?
Kind of the same. I guess I was a little more like computer, like knew what I was doing on it.
Right.
So learning it and doing it was the easier part. It was just like keeping up with, okay, now you can like do assignments almost beforehand.
Right.
Or, like try to get too far ahead.
Yeah.
Or back and forth, but like the teachers can get more resources online instead of printing out, thousands of pieces of paper.
Okay, so you saw the positive in it.
Yeah.
Why did you start to believe that this was the place for you? What moment helped you to believe that even though I'm the first, even though, did you feel any pressure? I guess is my next question. Did you feel any pressure to be successful?
I did a little bit, especially like for my daughter.
Right.
Because the first time I applied to Pellissippi was in 2015 when I graduated high school
Right.
and didn't end up going. And then had a baby. And
Right.
so it's like, okay, now you're finally gonna get your moment. And so I was like, I'm gonna come back and I'll be older than a lot of people and it's gonna feel really weird.
Right.
But even meeting people that were slightly younger, I was like, okay, I don't feel like I'm, way beyond my world here.
Yeah.
And
Like,
there's people that are still close to my age, like, okay, I'm not the only one who's waiting to go later on in
Right.
life.
yeah.
So it helps feel a lot more accepted. We're on the same page here.
So it was our community, right? It was our community. Okay, so I promised like 3 questions and I know I went over. Listen, I know that you're going to persist. I can see it. Can you talk to us about what your dream is? Like your why? As a first generation student, what is your why? What is the career you are looking to pursue?
So I'm looking to go into radiology and I want to go so my parents took care of me my whole life.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to take care of them after. And so they don't have to work or worry about money or anything like that. I want to be able to support them like they supported me.
Yes. And even though they don't always necessarily understand what you're going through, they're there and they're saying, this is where you want to go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So again, like mine is hugely for my daughter.
Yes.
That and like when I learned something that I learned for a friend
Okay.
to be able to communicate, and I loved knowing that I could communicate in a different way versus just using my voice. I could include other people in a culture that, like, putting myself in their world as well, not just always
Yeah.
making them feel like they have to put themselves in mine.
Right.
Fell in love with that. Like, teaching my daughter that when she was younger, like now every time I see her, she does the alphabet
Wow.
and sign language and knows some of the basic signs. So that was really cool to show her what I'm learning.
Yes.
And then even now, every time someone's like, "Why do you want to do sign language?" And I show them, and like they're like, "Okay, teach me this and teach me that," and I'm like, "Yeah."
Right.
So just like that experience of just like showing other people something that can
Right.
connect them with somebody that they may
Right.
encounter one day.
Right.
So-
And what would you like to do with
I
your
wanna be
academic?
an interpreter
Okay.
for it, and even like maybe a teacher one day. I can go further to my bachelor's.
Yes. When you,
Yes, when I get my bachelor's,
that's right.
to do
That's
it. Yeah, I teach it or interpret it.
awesome. And so what would you tell that person that showed up here the first day of class about what you know now about what it means to pursue your dream?
Keep going.
Keep going.
Don't ever give up.
That's right.
It might seem hard, but it's not.
It's-
It's not. It can get hard, but it's also when you work really, it is very worth
Yes.
it.
Yes. Awesome. Any other, come on, mama, any other?
I would just say, like, no matter what, like how you go about, even on the bad days, like I don't want to go to class, like even just try to keep up with it. Like through Bryce Race and stuff, and they post announcements, like, okay, what can I do to keep up with what I'm doing? You can have this like 1 day class or something else. You can kind of follow along a little bit and just keep going and, like it's almost over, you're gonna make it to the end. And
Yes.
then you get a break and you can breathe.
That's
and then you
right.
keep going.
That's right. We're gonna get a break, over the break, and then we'll forget long enough to where when we start in January, it'll be on
It's all
new.
new again.
Well, listen, ladies, this is what I can tell you, and I can tell you this like I can tell you my name. The only way not to get to your goals is to stop. So, as this wonderful, amazing student just told me, keep going. So we're gonna keep going, and we're going to go Panthers. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Go Panthers! Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Y'all were awesome. I'll make sure you get an A because I know you were in class. Great. All right. We're just having amazing conversations. If y'all have questions as we're going through this, we're just making space and time to really think about what it means to be where we are. And it's such a healing, wonderful, cathartic process. We have a brand spanking new Ella Sippy. She's my new colleague who I met on her interview because I just said hi in the rotunda. That's how it is here. Miss Houston's going to introduce herself and tell how she came here and where she works in our great institution.
My name's Amy Houston. I came to Pell City. I actually graduated this past fall. I was a returning student, so class of 2022. And I work in student account services.
And student account services is what happens when students come to you.
I help, like, say you have some bills, you have parking tickets. handle the financials.
Awesome. Financials, handling your financials is really, really important here. And you know what? The wonderful thing about Pellissippi is that we don't worry about it too much. We just kind of make sure that you're able, and if you're not able, we have stuff that can help you be able. And that's what's wonderful about that. How in the world did you come to Pellissippi? Why Pellissippi?
So I'm actually originally from Detroit.
Oh, Detroit.
Yes, I'm from Detroit, and I'm a returning student, so I moved here to be with my family. I have an aunt here, and I found out about the Tennessee Reconnect program,
Whoa.
which is my
Whoa.
favorite thing to tell
Okay,
people about.
hey, she's getting ready to talk about, come on in, everybody. She's getting ready to talk about our Tennessee Reconnect program. Tell us about it.
So if you're an older student like me, and you're 23 and up, if you go to a state public college, they will pay for you. So I got my associates for free.
What?
Yes.
FREE. That's free 30. That's free o'clock. That's free right now.
So my favorite thing is when people call student account services and they're like, hey, I'm a returning student. I'm like, have you applied for the Reconnect?
Oh, that's so good. Okay, so, now you're the first one in your family to go to college. What did that feel like? Like, try to think back to, was there a lot of expectation for you to go? Like, talk to me about that.
There wasn't.
Okay.
Neither of my parents went to school. They were very much like, you get a job and you work until you retire.
Okay, because especially from where you're from, I don't know if y'all know this, but they make some cars and stuff in Detroit. And
Yeah.
so there's some good jobs, right?
Oh yeah,
People-
General Motors is
Yes.
our bread and butter.
Yes, absolutely. So you can, I don't know, you probably make some really good money, right? What made you say though, I want a different path?
I always excelled in school. Like I was never somebody who had to work on my homework. It just got turned in and I didn't have to think about it.
Okay,
So it was like, I
Come on
feel
in
like
now.
I'm too smart to work on a line the rest of my life. That sounds terrible.
well, I don't know that. I mean, I don't know that. I mean, there might be some different words you could use, or I'm really interested in
Doing more.
doing different, doing
Yeah.
something, right? So when you got to college for the first time, were you concerned that people looked like they might know what they're doing and you weren't quite sure?
Oh yeah.
Well, wait a minute, you were the smart one, so come on, tell me.
Well, it was more so all of my friends went away to college and I was the only one who went to community college.
Oh, so that's a whole switch too.
Yeah, so all my friends were at these institutions, like living that on-campus life. I moved out at 18. I was paying rent, I had a full-time job, and I was going to school.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so my college experience just looked different from what I thought it was supposed to look like.
Right.
And all these students were like in their 40s and
So were you just like, well, maybe I came to the wrong place? You know, I don't know if you've ever been on an airplane and they say, we'll be going to Denver. If you don't plan to go to Denver, right, you need to get off. And you're just like, where is the
you're
door?
like, ooh,
Right.
did I make the right
Right.
choice? Then where am I?
What was the moment though where that clicked on for you, where you said, no, this is where I'm supposed to be?
I started learning and like enjoying my classes. I didn't realize how much I love science.
Oh, wow.
I started going to college and I started taking all these environmental science classes. And I was like, wow, like this is all interesting. Like I enjoy studying.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because I never really had to study before and this was all new to me.
So it was a big shift from high school where you thought you knew what college is to actually getting here to college.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did your family interact with you, right? Because now you're the college girl, right?
They didn't realize how much time it took.
Well, because yeah, okay. Who else struggles with that, right? Because it's like you're balancing now two worlds. You were in one, right? You were in your family, you were in high school, you were in the community, and now there's this whole big world that's very separate from that. Did you feel like you were straddling two worlds for a while?
Yeah, it was like, this feels so adult. Like this is actually where things are important to me. And this feels like I'm making progress, whereas like going to my day job is this.
Right.
You know,
So you started to see that it was really important. So what would you tell your you know, I mean, let's go to reconnect, right?
Yeah,
So,
it's amazing.
so you reconnected. Because I think we talk a lot about the start, but we don't talk about how difficult it is to finish. Because our brains will start to say to us, yeah, this is hard. That means you don't belong here. This is hard. No one else in your family's ever done this. Why are you trying? What made you reconnect and finish?
I think I wanted more. Like I had a career. I saw the money start coming in. And I
Right.
was like, you know what? But if I got a degree,
Yeah.
I can go for something I'm more passionate about.
Right.
I
Right.
can choose my life rather than let it happen to me.
Oh, yes. Okay, remember that, y'all. You can choose your life rather, I like to say, not just rather than let it happen, but you make the choices instead of other folks making the choices of when you come to work, when you go home, when you have vacation, you know. Come on in, everybody, come on in. So anyway, last question. Think back to that moment where you were just like, I don't know about this. I don't have the right game pieces. I'm not sure which way to go. What would you tell her now, especially after coming full circle and now getting a chance to work in higher education? What would you tell her about what it means to be a first generation student?
Education's everything. Just like the more you put into it, the farther you're gonna go.
Wow. Wow. The more you put in, the further you're going to go. Gosh, so many wonderful snippets. I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for your Panther. You know, I saw her and she had a Pellissippi Community College sweatshirt on that I was kind of eyeing. And she was like, I just got it in the bookstore. So remember, we have swag and we also have our athletic swag that we need to start picking up. But yeah, we'll be seeing you in student services, student account services. And I'm hoping not to get a parking ticket, but if I do, I think I'll be happy to come. Tell me, students, oh, I'm good. Students, what questions from the time that we've been talking might you have about what it means to be first gen? Or what experiences have you had so far in being first generation? And anybody can answer. Would you like to share? Would you like to share?
I guess being independent, being older and having to start out. Being independent and starting out on my own. I'm 37, first semester. And I didn't think I'd be where I'm at today. Because I always was the negative Nancy in my life because that's how my family life was. Everything was so negative.
Right.
So you come from your background.
Right.
So until about 2 years ago, I got with some old friends I connected with, and they were very positive people, and they influenced me. I went back and got my GED last year. As soon as I got it, I took off running and I enrolled in college. I actually know Ashley Katz that works in financial aid.
Yes. How did you know Ashley?
She's friends with my best friend.
See?
Yeah, she got me in here.
Yeah.
I love Ashley. Look at this sweetheart.
She is.
I love her.
She's one with purple hair. It might be pink. Is
no,
that
she's
that's
got
not
blonde-
Ashley?
no,
Oh
she's
yeah,
got
I
blonde
know.
hair.
I know which one. I know. Okay.
But yeah, I just started off. I was kind of skittish.
Right.
Everybody's so young, and I'm so much
Right.
older. But you know what? I connected with two ladies in my class.
You did?
who were like this
Wow.
every day, like we do homework together.
Yes.
Like we're just there, and our teacher just tells us like we're the top students in the class. It feels good to hear that after you was so like negative against yourself for
Right.
how long, but
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, what was a moment where you felt like everyone else knew the answers, but you didn't?
I always struggled a lot. I have ADHD.
Yes.
So comprehension's always been a challenge for me, but I'm learning how to find new ways to,
Yes.
like the working online, I can
Right.
never be able to do because I have to print
my work off. and
Right.
Read it off paper.
Yes,
Just cause I get too distracted.
right,
I
right.
can't work off on that.
Right.
All my stuff.
Have you been able to use the resources here available?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm in the trio center. I'm one of the students, trio students.
Yes, of course you are. That's where I remember you from.
Yeah.
Yes. And trio, as we talked about earlier, 87%, right, of our trio students are first generation
They're
students.
actually, oh, they're awesome. They helped me get a computer and printer, everything.
A computer, a printer, we provide here. Thank you.
They've been very helpful.
Well, we're gonna do everything that we can to make sure
Thank you.
that you have what you need. We hope that you feel like you belong now. Yeah, I went back to school when I was 45. I know, I look 45 now. Thank you. Thank you. I do pay her. I absolutely do pay her. Do we have some other first gen folks in the room?
Oh, am I sitting in a chair?
Yes, you're first gen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Technically.
Yes, well, we'll take technical. Tell us who you are and maybe how we met. And then, what does it mean to be first generation? Here we go.
Thank you. Okay. Hi, I'm Sarah. I am a pre-nursing student. I'm starting the nursing program in January. And this lovely woman, and well, she mentored me. I'm just saying mentored me. I set up an appointment with her via Navigate. Highly recommend, especially if you just generally need direction or somebody to help you connect
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah. But how did you get here? And let's not talk about me.
But I get the
How did you get to Pellissippi?
I
And tell us
had,
about your family.
well, actually, I'm a retread. I came to Pellissippi many moons ago.
We reconnect.
When most of you were, I don't know.
Okay, don't
probably
be
in
judging people.
elementary school.
Yeah.
We're moving on. We're
Yeah.
lots of non-traditional students. Anyway, I really liked Pellissippi when I was here in 2012, getting my associates in general science.
Yes.
And so it was kind of my first choice for the nursing
Yeah.
program.
Yeah.
Super excited about it. It's highly competitive. I've missed you already. And then, so can
So
I,
what is
can I
the
branch
feeling?
off a teeny little bit?
Okay.
I was
See,
able to-
mm,
I was, for a lot of first generation students, financing school is not easy. And I was lucky enough to be connected to a program, an educational assistance program that I'm happy to talk about if you want, that helped me come here. My parents met and had babies pretty young.
Right.
And did not get to complete
Right,
school.
right.
So, it's been a struggle for them, but
Right.
happily, I, was able to get a bachelor's and I'm
Right.
working on my nursing. So,
Wow, wow.
Thank you
And
for
so,
letting me share all this.
so how did you feel being the first in your family to get a degree?
There's a lot of pressure on me,
Pressure.
for sure.
Sometimes you
but
feel pressure.
you cannot fail.
Yes,
But
but you-
also lots of pride.
Lots of pride.
Yeah, feels good.
What would you tell your younger self, the person that was sitting in class, right? Your parents didn't go to school, now you're doing it. And that moment where somebody has passed out all the answers and they just didn't give them to you, what was that like?
Well, lots of things. I would say get connected to a mentor. Your parents might not be able to give you that. I wish somebody had told me to take the ACT enough times to get scholarship money because I ended up taking out a lot of student loans and that was not,
Okay,
now me is paying for past we's decision. I don't, if you can get, mentorship somewhere, preferably like on the campus you're gonna
Right.
be at,
right.
that would be best. I
Right.
wish I'd known that and then,
And I think that I'm gonna ask you a question before the last question. You work here now.
I work with Trio. It is an honor and a privilege.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. I was leaving a final exam and my teacher said, would you like to teach with Trio? And I was so unemployed, had a 1-year-old daughter, like money was tight it's an under exaggeration. Anyway, so I get to do that and it's nice because I'm on campus and it has helped me so much. Like if you're thinking, no, not even if you're thinking about tutoring, if you're enjoying a class you're taking, go tutor it because it's helped me solidify so much what I learned in classes from before. That would be really positive. And your help, it feels great to be able to help other people.
Yeah. What would you tell your young self? What would you tell yourself when you were first starting and you felt like there's no way I can really, listen to me. You are now going to be a nurse.
That's wild.
You're going to have your career.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be able to pass, and I met your beautiful daughter. I don't know, what does it feel like being in the midst of this growth, this trajectory of your life through education?
Since I'm one of those people where my experience really meandered and I didn't, I wasn't like a straight shot from high school into nursing. I went and I traveled around the world. Spent money doing that. Was fortunate to do that, very lucky, but it wasn't cheap. And I worked in like mortgage lending and other things that have nothing to do with nursing, but make everything count because every bit, every class you take, every kind of like professional experience you can take advantage of is gonna feed into your future in some kind of way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sharon.
I
Okay.
love you.
Yeah, well, thank you. That
Um,
was fun.
Are you first gen?
I am.
Yes, come on, have a seat. Go. Okay, President Wise, would you like to just sit in my chair for just a couple of minutes, or do you have to go?
I got to about 3.
Okay, all right, okay. Can I talk to him and then I'll talk to you? Thank you, all right. Wow, what a week. This is my first fall,
Oh, yeah,
and
by 26.
I'm aware. This is my 6th month. And what I can tell you is being a first generation working at a place that is on the ground floor of serving and giving access to first generation students. It's the best thing that I've ever done. Talk to me about what you feel like being a first generation and being able to deliver these kinds of programs and this kind of focus to our population here.
Yeah, so I'm actually 2nd gen.
2nd gen,
My
yeah.
dad was 1st gen. I actually went to Brevard Junior College in Western North Carolina. And it's funny, although my parents always had an expectation that we would all go to college, never really shared with us how to be successful. And I remember the day I discovered my father's high school report cards.
Oh, okay.
They were just as bad as mine. And it was just kind of shocking to me because I knew my father had gone to, he had 2 degrees, he had an associate degree and he got a bachelor's degree. And just thinking about, that journey, which I really didn't learn about until very late. It was like, and after he passed away. He was from a time where a lot of times there wasn't communication, right? There was an expectation, but there wasn't sort of real talk.
No,
right? It
no.
wasn't
You do
like,
what I look
you're
like.
not doing well in high school,
Right.
but I didn't do well in high school. He never said that.
That's right. Of course
So,
he couldn't.
I was a terrible high school student. Terrible.
Do y'all hear this? This is the
Terrible.
president. I'm just saying.
Terrible.
He said
Terrible.
terrible.
I
Terrible.
was probably, let's see, I think my high school GPA was 2.11.
Y'all, there is hope for all of us. And this is what makes working here and going to school here so powerful.
I think I passed 1 class in the last semester of my school year.
Talk to us
I was
about that.
terrible.
Well, talk to us about
So I did, I was pretty bright,
it. Okay.
so I could.
Well,
get-
right to a fault.
maybe bright and arrogant. No, I'm not an arrogant person.
But more just like
but-
right and just not knowing. Just,
Yeah, so I would get my books at the beginning of the school year, stack them up in my locker, take them out at the end of the school year and turn them into because I thought I would just kind of coast through. I would do enough to stay eligible to do things that I love, play soccer and be in a marching band. And that's what I did, but I never learned how to learn.
Mhm.
And I didn't learn how to learn until I was in my 3rd or 4th semester of college.
Wait, okay, hold on. I mean, I feel like, I do a lot, there's a lot going on right now. Did you say you did not know how to learn until the 3rd or 4th year of college? Okay,
3rd or 4th semester. Yeah. So I
3rd or
can't,
4th semester.
yeah,
Okay, so you
so
were still in that sophomore
so it's kind of,
slump.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I remember, so I just kind of muddled through. I did a lot of behaviors in college that I did in high school in terms
Yep.
of didn't really crack a book and found out you didn't really have to go to class.
Right.
Well,
Who you knew? Who did you know? Who did you know?
but ultimately there were consequences in college that were different than the consequences. In high
Okay.
school, right?
Okay.
You didn't go to class. Sometimes the professor cared, sometimes they didn't.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and you get, and it's the luck of the draw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But.
But what was the moment?
So I had, in the fall semester of my sophomore year, I had a professor, I think I probably still have this exam somewhere in my, and he just wrote something, a little note at the end of my exam, and it was something along the lines of, you know, you demonstrate great potential with your work. This exam is not perfect, but I can see that you really have the potential to be a successful student here at this college.
Okay,
And that was really the first time I felt like somebody
oh,
recognized where I was.
right,
And then saw where I might be able to go. And
Okay.
that was powerful.
okay, and so the words were, this is what you're doing, and this is what I see in you. So much about someone who is first generation. I want to leave people with some kind of nugget for today. And I think that this idea of being seen, like, tell me your name. Danielle got seen by her classmates and by your professor, right? By saying, you are the top people in our class. And something in your mind switches to say, oh, right? And so your father loved you and he had taken a path, but like you said, that communication of, I'm doing this and now you need to do that. So I just want everyone to be very aware that when you're first generation, you have to be looking for those signs, right? Looking for opportunities to be in situations with people that can speak into your life. That's what we want to do here at Engage and Lead. That's what we want to do in that's why we're start strong, stay strong, finish strong. And I like to say in Engage and Lead, we help you to be strong, right? So we provide food, fun, and festivities. And these are all things that allow you to be strong. And we lead you and engage with you. Again, what would you just tell a first generation student that was sitting in class today and said, I don't belong, I don't think this is a place for me? What would you say?
One, this is a place you do belong. This place is for you.
For you.
It's hopefully it's designed for you, whether you're 37, 42, or
Well.
47, or 55, or 18 in a first gen student. I mean, this place is for you, and it's our responsibility to make sure that we provide that opportunity for you to find those connections. I think a lot of people think that, you know, the most important attribute that India have is sort of intelligence and smart.
Come on.
Things. The reality is it requires grit,
Woo.
persistence, and
Mm.
commitment.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how much pride and joy it gives me to hear your stories. And I can't wait to see you walk across the stage at graduation, you to walk across the stage at graduation, have your daughter there. I mean, that's what fills up my soul, right? I mean, when I graduated from college, I wasn't a parent when I went to college.
Right.
I mean,
Right. You didn't even probably have a plan.
So, if I did, it did not survive, this semester. So I hope you know how much, I do, and I think the folks who work here do respect and admire, students who have so much on their plates,
Yes.
but continue to show up and
Yes.
continue to take one step forward at a time.
Yes.
And even if you start when you're 18, and go
Right.
back when you're 30 and finish.
Right.
To me, that's not a failure because it took you 12 years to get a community college degree.
That's right.
A commitment to persistence.
Yes.
And commitment to finishing. And
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I admire and respect and believe in that.
What? Thank you so much. And we just want to go Panthers. 3, 2, 1.
Go Panthers!
All right. And we are going to, you know, in this train, yes, we're gonna land this baby. So grateful for you and all the wonderful work that you do for us here. And I'm ready for the rest of Panther Nation to be able to meet you. I just don't know how to thank colleagues that step up and say, this is who I am. The reason why we're successful here at Pell City with our students is because we share ourselves and we share our experiences. I'm first gen. My mother was the first in her family to graduate high school because we were born in a place where they just closed schools because they didn't want to integrate for 4 years. And so now I'm in a place where I want to make sure that I'm working to where everybody knows that no matter what, they can make it and they can do it. You're going to introduce yourself, tell how you came to Pellissippi. I'm gonna ask you 3 simple questions and then we'll be done. All right, here we go.
My name is Charity Davenport.
Yes.
And I am the instructional technology specialist focused on accessibility
Yes.
here at Pellissippi. A lot of my focus is on making sure that the stuff that faculty do in their classes is more accessible to students.
Come on, accessibility.
And I think for a lot of people, they think like, oh, that means like students who are blind or deaf or they have a learning disability. But really, accessibility to me
Yes,
is everyone.
everyone.
So that includes international students.
Yes.
That includes first gen students.
Yes, yes.
So accessibility to me is like really broad. So
Uh-huh.
that's a lot of my focus here at Pellissippi.
Oh my goodness, listen, Charity, listen. See, Charity knows when to show up for me. Because I was hoping and praying for someone who literally as a part of their job, I'll talk less. As a part of their job, they first gen is on their mind. And so this is awesome. My first question. What does it feel like to be first generation, to be the first one in your family to get a 4-year degree?
I think for me, it's really weird because
Interesting.
when I went to college, first gen was not a thing.
Right,
I didn't know anything about.
right.
There wasn't any programming.
Nobody talked about it.
I didn't know I was first gen until they started having these programmings for first generation students. I was like, oh, yes, that was me. My parents didn't go to college. My brother barely went to college and then he decided to get married
Right.
and have a kid and didn't finish college.
Right.
So that I was like, oh, I guess that's me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that, and I never really thought about that being part of my identity until that became like
Wow.
a movement.
A movement, a thing. Okay, and so let's think back though to those first few days, right? You decided to go to college for whatever reason. And you're in class. And everybody else seems to be skipping right along. And obviously the teachers talked to them, but hadn't talked to you. Can you tell me about those moments where you didn't know you were first gen, but you felt it?
I think that's kind of the weird part about my first gen is also, I don't think I've really had the traditional same experiences as other
That's good.
first gen.
That's good.
My parents weren't really that supportive of me in anything.
Uh-huh.
And another thing I realized recently is I have CPTSD.
Okay,
And so
okay,
because of like isolation and not really getting a lot of support from my parents,
I got you.
so a lot of me going to college was more to escape.
Yes,
I knew that the only way my life was going to be better is if I got away
yes,
from my family.
yes, absolutely.
So knowing that that was like my only escape, I kind of buried myself in study
Yes,
and learning, and that was my focus because I was like, this is the only way I can get out.
right.
I have to
do
do the best that I can. And like Dr. Weiss said, I guess I'm in the gifted category. So I went
You
to
are.
a magnet high school where you had to have a certain test score.
Right.
And so it was kind of already like a college preparation.
Okay.
So going to the university was a smooth and easy
Oh, that's
transition
good.
for me, but it was also the thing of, we would, like senior year, we met with our guidance counselors, and the first question in that meeting was, where are you going to college? It wasn't, are you going? It
Oh,
was,
really?
where are you going?
Really?
And that's when I was like, okay, that's my ticket out. I have to.
Wow.
To do everything for that, so.
Well, that, that happened to me as well. It's just, I wasn't necessarily gifted intellectually. Maybe I was and didn't know it right at the time, but I used track and field. So that's what I used. It was like, I was committed to it, not because I wanted to do it, but because I was talented and I could go to college, because there was no way we could pay for college. I mean, my mother worked 2 jobs. There was, my cousins went to a community college, like it was an hour away, but still, like, I just had no idea how it worked, So my second question is, my third question is, what would you tell yourself now? I mean, come on, sis. I mean, you're doing it, right? You didn't just get away from your family. I believe that you grew into a new family, like you made your own family, right? Can you talk to us about what you would tell that, that little girl or that young woman, that was just trying to make her way every day? Like, what advice would you give her?
Well, I think one of the things that made everything so successful, I feel like I was really lucky because I don't really remember the barriers like paperwork and all those things. And I think it was because it was like, I have to do this and I have to do this now. And if I can't figure out what I need to do or how I need to do it, I'm going to go ask somebody for help. I never was like, well, I can't do this. I can't figure it out. I was running around campus figuring out, what do I need to do for financial aid? Someone told me something about, work study.
Right.
How can I get work study? Where do I need to go? Who do I need to talk to? I wasn't ever afraid to ask for what I needed.
To ask. So the bottom line is, you had a why. And that why was really life and death for you. And sometimes that can either produce a diamond, right? Produce a forward movement, or it can make you feel like a rock, right? That can make you feel like one of many. Did you get work study? Yes. And where did you get work study on campus?
Actually,
I feel like something good.
and I think one of the other weird things is my experience is all at UT, but I do have a fellowship in Italian.
Okay.
So my work study was at the Language Resource Center at UT.
Okay.
And my boss was Maria Davila, who
Yes.
is a Spanish instructor here, and we work together on things all the time.
Oh.
And it was a great experience for everything, even as a work study, it was great experience for everything that I did after that.
Right. And so then how did you know that higher education and working in this field, when did you know that nothing could stop you and that you could go for this dream?
I think education saved my life, I guess. It's kind of a weird thing to say, but it's always been where I could go and be safe. And there's always someone I can ask for help or someone I can help. I think that's my big thing. Before I was here, I was an instructor too, for international students. And so it's always been my passion to help other people when they have some kind of barrier. How can I help that person?
Well, I was a go cry. And I have been through a whole week of this. But I because sport and education, it saved my life. Like, I would not be here. I would not be who I am without that open door. And so I celebrate you. I celebrate all of us that we did it and we didn't give up and we were uncomfortable and we committed to the process. And, now we're Panthers and we are helping other Panthers be great. So on 3, 1, 2, 3, go Panthers! Thank you. Happy First Generation Week, everybody. This is the culmination of our, have a seat, Caitlin. No, I'm just gonna say bye to you. I'm just saying bye. I'm just saying bye to you. Come on, I have to edit now because you messed up. Yes, you messed up my thing. Okay, right. So, cut. We, you know, we have been so pleased and happy to bring to you this 2023 version of First Generation Week.